say you're playing something you know, a phrase you've worked through 100 times, and then partway through, you feel it. That familiar tightening in the forearm, the grip crawling into your fingers, maybe a little bracing that wasn't there in your shoulders at the start. And then the voice arrives, your own voice, or maybe from your teacher a year ago. Just relax, stay relaxed, relax your hand. And so you try. You direct your attention at the tension and tell it to release. But nothing happens, or maybe it even gets worse. So if that's happened to you, I want you to hear something clearly. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just that the instruction doesn't work the way you think it might. My name is Joseph Arnold. I'm a violinist, Alexander technique teacher, author, and director of the Soulforce Arts Institute. And in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about the try harder trap. Why just relax only makes things worse, and 2 proven techniques for playing with true ease. So here's what's actually happening in your body when that tightening arrives. Tension in your playing isn't a random event. It's not weakness. It's not inflexibility. It's a coordination pattern, a learned physical habit your nervous system built alongside your technique. Think about how technique gets learned. You encounter a difficult passage. You apply effort, focus, concentration, the physical press of trying to get it right. Your nervous system remembers not just the notes you play, but the entire physical experience of playing them. The bracing in your forearm, the tightened jaw, the shoulder that crept up. Over time, those things become part of the same learned whole. The music and the tension arrive together. This is why telling yourself to relax doesn't work. It's not a mindset problem, it's a coordination problem. I call this the try harder trap, and it works like this. So you notice tension. Your instinct, because you're a careful, dedicated musician, is to do something about it. You direct your attention at it, you concentrate, you try to change it. But here's the thing, that act of trying is itself effortful. And effort for a nervous system that has learned to associate effort with tension produces more of the same. So you try harder, and the tension deepens. You try even harder, and it gets worse. It's a vicious cycle, round and round, until you're frustrated, maybe you're hurting, maybe you're ready to stop playing altogether. The instruction to just relax lands in this cycle as a command, and commands require effort to follow. So the moment you focus on relaxing your hand, you've already added another layer of concentrated effort to the situation. Your nervous system responds to commands by doing what it always does in that kind of situation, trying harder. So it's not your fault that your body learned this. That's what practice does. It encodes experience. But it is your responsibility to unlearn it. And that begins with one shift, stopping the effort to fix it. So if trying to relax makes it worse, what do you do instead? I'm going to give you 2 specific practices, things that I teach all of my students. You can try the first one right now, right while you're watching. Okay, the first practice is called 2% less effort. Here's the idea. Instead of telling yourself to relax, making yourself to relax, which asks you to achieve a new state, I'm going to ask you to do something much simpler. Do very slightly less than what you're doing right now. Not 0 effort, not complete release, just 2% less. Less gripping in your fingers, less pressure in the keys, less tension in the hold of your bow, less trying to get that high note if you're singing, right? So if you're a string player, a singer, a wind player, this same principle applies. So whatever effort is present, just reduce it by a tiny bit. Instead of this, it's just that, right? Just a tiny bit less. And the reason this works is that it doesn't ask you to achieve anything. It only asks you to reduce something that's already happening. That's a different kind of request to your nervous system. Instead of a command, which triggers effort, it's an invitation to find the floor. And when you actually try it, you will usually discover something surprising. You were using considerably more effort than the music actually required, right? The floor is much lower than you thought. Let me show you what this looks like. So here I'll play that same phrase with tension. Right? And then with 2% less effort. Right? Do you see the difference? Do you hear the difference? Right? It's very different. It's the same phrase, the same notes, the same dynamics, just slightly less grip in the approach to how you play, right? That's it. That small shift can change the quality of the entire phrase. And it doesn't require you to achieve relaxation. It just requires you to reduce the effort that you're already using. So try it right now. If you're near your instrument, great. Pick up your bow or whatever, put your hands on the keys. If not, you can do this with your hands in front of you like this. So press your fingers together, not hard, just with some gentle effort, and notice the pressure. Notice what happens in the rest of your body as well. Do you get tighter or freer? So now, just use 2% less effort between your fingers. Not zero, just very slightly. Just notice what happens. So I notice my whole body gets freer with that. And it's such a tiny shift, but this is what 2% less effort feels like. Now imagine applying that at the beginning of a difficult passage, before the tension even has a chance to build, right? That's very powerful. So the second practice is what I call the magic pause. This one, again, is something I teach to all of my students. It's so effective and it's almost embarrassingly simple, which is partly why it works. So before you begin a tricky section, the passage where the tension always arrives, you pause. Not to prepare, not to set yourself up, not to think through the fingering one more time, not even to try to relax. Just a genuine pause in which you literally do nothing at all. You're just waiting. So maybe you notice where your body is, your shoulders, your jaw, your hands, but you don't try to change any of it. You just notice. Okay? So very common for violinists to put up their violin like this, kind of rushing into it and kind of doing all this kind of nonsense, right? So instead, you think, oh, I'm going to pick up my violin, pause, and then you go. And that happens with ease. So here's why this matters. Tension habits are automatic, right? They activate even before the passage begins, in the anticipation, the physical setup, in the moment of deciding to play. By pausing, you interrupt that momentum. You create a small gap in the automatic sequence. You're not breaking a lifetime of habits in one pass, but in that gap, something different can begin, a new choice. Your nervous system has a moment, just a moment, not to be in that pattern. And over time, those gaps accumulate. The pattern loosens its grip, not because you defeated it with effort, but because you stopped feeding the habit, right? So here's something important about working with these practices. Changes in coordination habits feel subtle. They don't often arrive as a sudden breakthrough. They can, but not often. More often, it's where it's in the small things, right? A phrase that used to tighten your hands doesn't quite as much. A passage that triggered shoulder tension, well, you catch it a little bit earlier, and so you feel lighter by the end. These are real changes. They're also easy to dismiss because they don't feel very dramatic, but don't dismiss them, okay? So what I'm going to suggest is this. Pick one moment in your practice this week, one passage, one tricky spot, one jump, one leap, where you know the tension tends to arrive. Apply the magic pause before you play it, right in between those two tricky notes. You could also apply 2% less effort, but don't overdo it. Just try one at a time in one little tiny section of your pieces, okay? And you just notice what happens. Don't try to fix anything. Don't try hard to relax. Just notice. And over time, what you'll notice will expand. Your body awareness will expand. Your sense of space around you will expand. And that expanding awareness is the foundation of real lasting change. It's not a technique fix, but it's a different relationship with how you use your body. It's also the beginning of what I call playing from the heart. Not performing from the head, not trying to get it right, not conforming to some concept, but playing from somewhere deeper inside you. All right, so if this resonates, if something clicked with you today, I want to invite you to go deeper. I run a free weekly session called the Musicians Tension Reset Lab. It's a small group. We work with exactly these ideas in real time on your own instrument. It's not a lecture, it's an experience you can take with you. You're going to leave with tools and techniques you can use that day, okay? So learn more at soulforcearts.com/tension reset. Come as you are, come with your instrument, come curious, all right? And if you found this useful, please subscribe. I post videos on these subjects, things that almost nobody else is talking about, things that so many musicians really need. I talk about this stuff all the time, providing useful, practical advice. So please subscribe, please share it with musicians you know, like the the video and all that kind of thing. So that's all for today. Go ahead and apply these lessons. It's the only way you're going to make real change. I'll see you next time.